Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Dr. OJ Speaks. Welcome to the month of October. I started the show in silence as a sign of respect to all the lives that have been lost to domestic violence, teen dating violence, and all forms of domestic abuse. Honeydrops Foundation is our main sponsor for this episode today. Actually, for this entire month. Because in the month of October, we are going to be using this space as a way to provide education, advocacy, to let you guys know all of the things that are happening behind the scenes as regards to domestic violence and teen dating violence. Honeydrops Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit, which is about 6 years old, that believes in the power of education to educate, elevate, and empower youth and families to live beyond domestic violence. If you would love to support their work and everything that they're doing, visit their website at honeydropsfoundation.org to donate, register to volunteer, or try to see which of their programs you can support, because they have been working not just in North Texas, but all over the globe, providing education to over 5,000 youth up until date. So, today's episode is dedicated to survivors, victims of domestic violence all over the world. I'm going to be showing you a short clip that we produced at Honeydrops Foundation to show you some of the effects of domestic violence in the lives of young people who enter into situations unbeknownst to them that this is a violent situation. They have no clue as to how to identify the several signs and red flags that they should know that tells them that they are with an abuser, an aggressor, or someone who perpetuates abuse. So today's episode is dedicated to educating you and showing you a very graphic clip that some of you might find disturbing, so you feel free to definitely tune out. But I highly recommend and ask that you take the time to view this episode till the end, because it's going to help enlighten you and open your eyes to some of the things that are happening around the world that you might not be aware of. And by watching this episode today, you could be the solution to someone's problem. You could be the one to save the life of a neighbor, a sister, a friend, or someone that you just randomly pass by. In the past, you might have overlooked the situation to think it's normal, but after watching our episode today, you would be better equipped to become one of our global ambassadors to advocating for youth and families to live beyond domestic violence. Stay tuned and I'll be right back. By the way, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, so spend some time this month to share some light, to share a post, to visit social media, and just lend your voice to this advocacy in the month of October, so that together we can go faster, further, by trying our very best to end domestic violence all around the globe. I will be right back.
House ain't clean. She's out late. Where you been?
At work.
At work?
Yes.
I called your job. Where have you been?
At work.
Look at this. Didn't I tell you to clean this house?
Every 20 seconds in America, there is an act of abuse being committed, whether it be verbal, mental, emotional, physical, or even sexual. We are men standing against abuse and uniting for living beyond domestic violence, whether it be family, sexual, and teen dating violence. Come stand with us January 20th, 2018, between the hours of 6:30 p.m. and 9 p.m. at Tequila by Angelo. The address is 374 East FM 1382. You can also purchase tickets or make donations at www.eventbrite.com HD Men Against Violence FS.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. And let's talk about this short skit that you just watched. That was an original production for the Honey Drops Foundation, by the way. And I'll be very happy to share with you if you're interested in having it for advocacy purposes on your platform. Just send us an email at info@honeydropsfoundation.org and we'll send all of our resources to you. Like I said, Honey Drops Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit that honestly does all the work that they do based on the donations and contributions from the public. And we definitely have a tax-exempt status that allows you to get some benefits for all of your donations. So definitely consider supporting this wonderful organization. Now let's talk about this movie that we just watched. Now, a lot of people do not understand that domestic violence goes beyond the physical contact that an abuser places on the abused or victim, that they really totally throw a wrecking ball through their lives. Domestic abuse does not just start when the person places their hands on you. It starts way before you even realize you are in an abusive situation. And that is why we do all that we can to educate, especially our youth, because our aim is to believe that if young people are way more aware in the things that are harmful to them, chances are that they will be able to make better choices to protect themselves and protect the people around them. And that is why one of the programs that Honey Drops Foundation offers is youth advocacy training that allows them to become global youth ambassadors, whereby they can work within their schools or their communities to not only advocate for their peers, but to also educate their peers in identifying all of these signs that we're about to talk about. The first one is emotional abuse. Emotional abuse is something that is a very powerful tool in the hands of an aggressor. You know, we call them narcissists. You know, now we have a very charming name for abusers: narcissism, narcissistic behavior, and all of that. Yes, that is who they are. But they channel their power by emotionally demoralizing their victims. They walk their way into their lives as a savior, as someone who seems to be the only one that cares about them or cares the most for the victim. Eventually, they find a way to isolate these victims and mentally break the victim down, whereby the victim becomes highly dependent on their abuser. And that is why people ask me all the time, Dr. O, why is it that all of these abused people, when you're trying to save them, they never leave? Why don't they ever leave? Yes, it's not about, the prison of the mind is way more effective than any four walls that someone can physically build around you. You know, a man who is imprisoned in his mind, whose mind is totally wired to think a certain way, it's hard for them, even if you go physically take that person out of the situation, until the person gets to the point where they are completely or they are newly aware of the dangers they're in, it's not possible for you to get them the help that they need. And that is why, for the most part, a lot of victims of domestic violence end up losing their lives, and it becomes too late for anybody to do anything about it. And that is why we must all join together to raise a loud voice of awareness in this month of October. And not just October alone, but beyond October as well. However, October is special because it is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And just in case you were wondering, February is Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. So kind of keep those dates on your calendar to see what you can do on social media, or use your platform and your voice to help bring some solutions to this social issue. Now, after emotional abuse, we have what we call financial abuse. These are things that an abuser would use to hold their victims hostage. You know, the financial abuse part is when, a person does not have the ability to financially sustain themselves, and they are fully dependent on their abuser. So it becomes increasingly impossible for them to stand on their own, or to figure out a way to start over or find a way of escape. Now, I want to tell you this. If you know anybody who is in this situation, let them know that help is available to them. There are so many organizations like the Honey Drops Foundation, government organizations that are standing by, ready and able to help you start over. As long as you can get yourself out of the situation, even if it's just with the clothes on your back, trust me, a lot of help is available to ensure that you live the life that you deserve. I have community partners and advocates like the Ladder House Decor that we have consistently worked with over the years to raise resources from. They help decorate your house from the startup. We have so many shelters that offer transitional living. We have job opportunities that you can get, people that can help you get trained to get jobs and things like that. So many things that are readily available for you. You just have to ask. Now, when we talk about emotional, we talk about financial abuse, then there is the other types of abuse whereby it's called verbal. Words. You say sticks and stones don't hurt me, but words, they definitely can break you down. That is so true. Verbal abuse is a real thing. And we see this amongst kids, calling themselves out their names and all kinds of things, and just being very negative and being harsh to each other. Now, society has figured out a way, especially the media. Oh my God, unfortunately, the media has actually normalized verbal abuse, because we see people calling, men calling women out their names, women calling men out their names, and kids using all types of slangs and rhetorics to identify each other. All of that is abuse, just in case you were wondering. It is wrong. It is absolutely wrong. But media, entertainment has normalized this type of behavior. And we don't actually see it as something wrong. I tell you, verbal abuse is a real thing. And it is one of the most powerful tools that an aggressor or someone who is a perpetrator of domestic violence uses against their victims. So when you put together emotional, verbal, you put together financial, and eventually once they go through all of the stages, which we're going to discuss in another episode in the month of October, whereby I'm going to walk you through the different stages of abuse, how an abuser comes into your life and how they groom you and draw you in and carry out all of their acts and then carries out everything that they need to get to the end point. We're going to talk about that in a later episode. But for today, I just want to show you guys and let you know from this short skit and from the things that I'm telling you today, the different types of abuse that we need to be aware of. So we have emotional, we have financial, we have verbal. Now gets to the physical. And that's when people begin to see the bruises. And that's when you see the black eye. And that's when you see the broken bones. But guess what? That individual had been broken before they got their bodies hurt. They had been broken beyond measure before they eventually had someone lay their hands on them. So guys, in this month of October, I am calling on you and I'm imploring you to use whatever resource, your voice, your platform you have. Use it for some good. Add value to the world around you by helping us educate, elevate, and empower youth especially, so that we can break the cycle for them from the bottom before they get to the top. And families, to help each of us live beyond domestic violence and teen dating violence. All right, guys, that's it from me today, and I will be back next week with an amazing episode from Dr. OJ Speaks. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget, before you leave the episode today, if this is your first time here, I know I didn't say from the beginning because, like I said, this episode is a special one for me. It's so near and dear to my heart. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Drop a notification because every week we are dropping new content for you. And remember to comment on this video. Share with someone because this episode is a powerful one, guys. Share this episode with someone. Leave us a comment. Like the episode. Help us bring our ratings up on YouTube. And of course, connect with us on social media. But most importantly, like I said, subscribe and turn your notifications on. Until next time, my name is Dr. Oyinka Solajinadu, and this has been Dr. OJ Speaks. Bye, guys.